Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting patiently. We're very excited about Foster Care Awareness Month. And we're going to actually be trending and live streaming. We have Anthony in the back there. Anthony, come on up with us. Anthony's gonna help us with the hashtag and trending. He has a lot of followers on Twitter. So we're going to have Pennsylvania under the hashtag of hashtag PA Foster Love. And then we're going to link that in with the national hashtag of National Foster Care Awareness Month. So we're gonna try to go, not viral, but trending this afternoon between 1 and 3. So I wanna thank my colleagues for coming today. We're so excited to have a little presser on the good things that are happening in Pennsylvania, and then also things with foster care, older youth permanency, going forward, things that we really need to change. So we have today with us, we are excited to have our guests from the City of Brotherly Love. We have our youth advocates, and they were grabbing a snack. I know we were excited that we were getting a snack break as well. But we have Anthony Simpson. Raise your arm, you're Anthony. Anthony Simpson is a youth advocate from Youth Fostering Change at the Juvenile Law Center. We also have Jonathan Hamilton. Thank you, Jonathan. And with us also, as they trickle in, Lakima Jones is coming back. Alexis Andino is here with us. And they testified before the committee today, and it was extremely powerful, their testimony, and it really takes a lot to come here to the Capitol and share your personal struggles and hardships that you've been through so that you can make be an advocate for others and make an impact of change going forward. So we're really grateful for them for doing that. Come on up, Alexis, come on up with us. So we also have other stakeholders and supporters of changing youth permanency planning policy in the state of Pennsylvania. We have Terry Henning from PA Council for Children, Youth, and Families. We have Gary Krentz, who is well known. He's from the Resource Family Association. Sarah Wash from the Field Center. Rick Azzaro from Diacon. Jenny Pokampner from the Juvenile Law Center, who was instrumental in putting this event together. Jenny, if you could give us a wave. And also Rachel Miller was instrumental from PA Partnerships for Children. And we have Dawn Holden Woods here, also from Philadelphia, from Turning Points for Children today. And we're extremely excited. The Speaker of the House was very gracious today. He let us all go up on the rostrum and have extra time for foster care awareness, and we are determined that Pennsylvania is going to become the national model for change in the United States of America in fixing a broken, cyclical system. And so we have the Speaker of the House, Speaker Mike Torzai. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Representative Toohil, you are such a leader on taking care of children in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And the work that you did today with the chair of the Children and Youth Committee, Karen Boback, was just outstanding. I saw some of the testimony and it was powerful. And thank you for bringing these guests to really share their heart and soul and the knowledge that they have as well. Thank you. And I want to just say the transition age youth are youth that are 13 to 21 in the foster care system. They make up about 33% of our foster care system in Pennsylvania. And we really, as a system and community, are not giving them the full support that they need. Almost half of these youth are growing up in group homes and institutions, and almost half age out of the system at either age 18 or age 21 without having a home, having a place to go to a family, or even the ability to try to find a new family. They have such incredible potential and strength, and we want to make sure they're not out there on their own. Our job as a state is to find them family-sustaining jobs through good career and technical education, support, love, or if they want to pursue other levels of education. But the key is they need to be able to sustain themselves in a market economy, so they need a skill set. And what Representative Toohil is focusing on here is to provide that level of support and education, and I so applaud her work. and one of the leaders on that front, and always has been, not just in leadership, but from the moment he came into office, my friend and colleague, the Majority Leader, Brian Cutler of Lancaster County.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Representative Toohil, for helping bring awareness to this issue. I think it's very important. I wanted to specifically focus on House Bill 1276, which is known as the Fostering Independence Through Education Act. I joined my colleagues here today and the other child welfare stakeholders and youth to pledge our commitment to strengthening the system this month and throughout the upcoming year and session. I know that when we're able to better support families, we're supporting and protecting children and youth. I also know that when we support the great potential of our young people, our communities benefit, as does our Commonwealth. My own county, Lancaster County, has a very strong independent living program. Independent living programs help support youth and young adults in the foster care system as they enter adulthood, further education, and the workforce. We've seen this program that when we invest in young individuals who are currently in foster care and support them as we want our own kids to be supported, we can see wonderful things and great outcomes. These days, to be competitive, as the speaker outlined, I think we would all agree that you need some form of higher education or career technical training to have a real shot at a job where you can be supported as well as support yourself and thrive in today's workforce. Education and training remains a key way to provide a young person a real future. This is one of the reasons House Bill 1276, as advocated by my fellow Lancastrian, Representative Hickernell, is an important piece of legislation, and I'm happy to speak about it today during Foster Care Month. The Fostering Independence Through Education Act would provide youth in foster care financial assistance for their higher education and training after they utilize all the available state and federal aid. It also provides a support network on campus to connect youth with existing services and supports. That's often something that some of us take for granted because we have our own support networks in place and we just unfortunately assume that they are in place for everyone. And we as policymakers need to recognize that's not the case. We need to provide that level of support. We need to provide that level of encouragement. And I'm convinced that as our state and communities will continue to see greater benefits of this investment by joining the 28 other states in passing such a program. At this point, I'll turn it over to our good friend and colleague, Dr. Karen Boback.
Thank you. I join my colleagues in recognizing Foster Care Awareness Month and taking on the challenge to strengthen and support the child welfare system so families have the support to raise their children and so that children and youth can achieve their great potential. This morning, I had the opportunity to convene a hearing on older youth permanency. Permanency is just another name for family. And one of the main goals of the child welfare system is to ensure that children go home to their families or find family through adoption, guardianship, or kinship care. Older youth in foster care are often a forgotten population, and this hearing demonstrated how important it is that we place special focus on them because they are facing challenges that none of the children in this Commonwealth or in the world should ever have to face. Almost half are growing up in group care rather than families, and a shocking 49% are leaving the system as adults or aging out without going home to their family or finding family through adoption, guardianship, or kinship care. That's almost 50% of the population has nowhere to go. I'm committed to building on this hearing that we had this morning and figuring out how we can make sure this transition of aged youth are placed with family and work to eliminating the number of youth who age out on their own and are going into very uncertain futures. Now, last month, I had a bill, it was House Bill 856, unanimously passed out of committee, unanimously passed out of the House. It is now in the Senate. This important legislation is a major step to improving the transition to adulthood for youth in foster care, providing financial support through subsidies received by families who adopt and enter guardianships with older youth and continue their health insurance. This is very important to strategies that will promote permanency in our older youth. On July 18, 2018, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania issued a decision invalidating Act 80 of 2012 as unconstitutionally enacted. As a result, Pennsylvania reverted to the termination of adoption and guardianship subsidies to age 13. This is a necessity, ladies and gentlemen. This bill needs to come out of the Senate, and it needs to be signed in law by our governor, as it will reenact the extended permanency subsidies. The money is there. The children are waiting. Time to do something. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And now we have with us the Democratic Chair, Mr. Joe Prochorka, to give us a few comments from Children and Youth, the chairman as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Tara. Glad to be here on behalf of House Democratic Caucus and our Democratic leadership. I am fortunate to be the Democratic Chair of the House Children and Youth Committee, and it's great to join my colleagues to acknowledge Foster Care Month in Pennsylvania. Our Children and Youth Committee, with Chair Boback, we have tremendous energy in that committee, and we are very interested in this issue and others as we move forward. We are on the verge of launching our Kinship Navigator program in Pennsylvania. Look forward to that, and again, I think we're on the verge of some very good things in Pennsylvania. Had a wonderful hearing this morning, as was mentioned, and look forward to working through these issues with all of the advocates, and I thank you all for what you do and for being here today. Thank you.
And we also have with us today Jenny Pokempner from the Juvenile Law Center. She was instrumental in putting together the policy recommendation package that was proposed today in Children and Youth Committee. Jenny, with a few words, and then she's going to introduce our youth advocate.
Thank you, Representative Toohil, and thank you to all the representatives for holding the committee hearing this morning, and to all of the representatives and lawmakers who are joining in this effort to improve the child welfare system. We think the hearing this morning and all the conversations we're having today really show a meaningful commitment to improve and enhance the child welfare system. And I also think today we are really reminded that, as the speaker said before me, when the child welfare system is strong, our whole Commonwealth benefits. And we really encourage all the community, all the stakeholders, all the lawmakers to learn about the child welfare system and really understand how you can lend a hand to make this system stronger. Because we do want to support families who need help, and we do want to help children who need the support of their families to grow and thrive. We do also thank the committee and all the stakeholders here for focusing on older youth. We think it's such an important issue. Older youth in foster care are aging out at a large rate in Pennsylvania and across the country. We know what it takes to help support young people to transition successfully to adulthood, and we need to change our laws and policies to do that. We're committed, along with our advocates that are sitting here, Pennsylvania Partnerships for Children, the Resource Family Association, and many more who are here today, to not only recognize and hear the voices of young people in foster care, but we really want to change the laws to make sure that all youth are connected with family who are in the child welfare system, and that no youth ages out of the child welfare system to homelessness. And we hope that the lawmakers and other advocates here will join with us to make that a reality. Our office, Juvenile Law Center, is committed to making sure that the young people who are in the foster care system play a leading role in any change and improvement with the child welfare system. It's vital to have them at the table and be decision makers. So I'm thrilled to pass the mic to Jonathan Hamilton, who is a youth advocate from Youth Fostering Change, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank Chairpersons Boback and Prochorka and members of the Children and Youth Committee for having us here and listening to our stories. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the importance of youth voice. Given the fact that the system is made for the welfare of youth, it is vital that we include them in the formation of the very policies that will pertain to them. Youth-guided policy is the best policy because we are the ones who are affected the most. When legislation starts with us, it travels in our present and finds its destination in our future. I hope that legislators understand that having those with direct experience to provide insight into their livelihood can change the way that decisions are made collectively for the greater good. There is no better time to shine for youth than in foster care month. Regardless of any individual's extended definition of family, all families function and look different to another, but it's still family. This month is a reminder that everyone deserves a family that will care for and guide them to be the best they can ever imagine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. You have a great voice for the acoustics in this room, so that was really, really great. He didn't have to speak very loud, but we hear you loud and clear. The message that the youth advocates brought to us today is that there is much change that needs to take place. We do have positive bills that are on the move that are highlighted here for the media for you to see. The Hickernell bill on tuition waiver, I think a huge barrier for our youth. You want to go and get training or maybe go to college, right? And that wasn't even on the list when we talked about permanency planning today, and it should be something that is on the list for these youth of ours. And they deserve everything that our own children in our own homes, that we plan for our own children. And that is something that needs to be an option for our foster youth. There was estimated, so there's 8,000 estimated transition age youth. And right now in Pennsylvania, there's 392 children, 392 that are estimated to be taking college classes or career and technical that are pulling down on that Chafee money, the Chafee grants. And so we need to better that. And the Hickernell bill that is here, that our House Majority Leader, Brian Cutler, spoke of, is on the move, and it's important. And it's something that removes a barrier for our foster youth. The bill 896 that Chairwoman Boback moved very expeditiously, it's a huge component. Families need assistance when they have children. Some of these foster families have many children that they take in, and these youth are deserving of that subsidy. So Chairwoman Boback has been working very hard. That bill's over in the Senate, and we do have a bill where it's called the Keys to Independence bill. So that sounds good. If you could get your state ID for free, get it paid for, your driver's license, your classes for your driver's license, your insurance would be paid for by the state of Pennsylvania. And that removes a barrier for these youth. We need to remove these barriers. It's hard when you can't find your birth certificate and nobody helped you with permanency planning and you don't have a state ID. How are you supposed to get a job? And it's very hard. How are you supposed to get to work if you can't drive and you're in a rural area or your job is farther away? So Keys to Independence. We are trying to establish a pilot program here in Pennsylvania, and it's tremendously successful in Florida, and Florida is trying to assist us in making this change for our foster youth. So what a great way to kick off this day. It's Foster Care Awareness Month in Pennsylvania. We are hashtagging, and we're going to be trending, right, Jonathan? Because he's got lots of followers. He's going to help us out. We're going to move this message, hashtag PA Foster Love, and we're going to move the message. It's National Foster Care Awareness Month. Hashtag National Foster Care Awareness. Okay, Foster Care Month. Yes, National Foster Care Month with a hashtag in front of it. You have to spell the whole thing out. We are also going to be putting that out there. So please retweet it and share it and get this issue moving. I think the legislature, the Children Youth Committee heard our youth loud and clear today, and it's a great way to kick it off, and there's many good things to come. So thank you everyone for their participation, and just keep retweeting all of that. Does the press have any questions for any of us? We live streamed, Facebook Live. You can pull up PCN. Chairwoman Boback had the the committee played on PCN today. So we have a lot of coverage. So if you could reshare that for us, it would be much appreciated. Thank you for your attentiveness.